We're asking Hashem to answer us on the day of our distress. Hashem Elohei Yankev. A person say, pray to Hashem. Say, how am I supposed to pray? What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? So the wonderful thing about Tehillim is it's prayers. It's prayers that people say, expressing all kinds of feelings that a person might have about his her relationship with God. He should send help from his holy place. By the way, God speaks English. He speaks German, Hungarian, Spanish. Ata yadaiti ki heishia Adonai Mashiach. Now I know Hashem saves His anointed one, the leader of Israel. Yeah, in every generation. Ya'anehu mishmei kodshe b'gubures yeshi yamine ele rechav ele vasusim ya'anaknu kamnu manis eidad. V'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu nazker him hakaru v'nafalu v'anachnu kamnu manis eidad Adonai Yeshua melech v'anenu v'yem karenu. Yeah, don't sit in the middle. Please, because if you sit in the middle, you're going to block somebody who might sit behind you.
Oh, you're in here.
Or you could sit there beside Leah. No, not in the middle.
Not in the middle. Oh, you're sitting over here.
Okay. Buenos días, Shirel. ¿Cómo está? Gracias a Dios. Okay, Tanya. Chapter 7. Klippus Noiga is the arena of our life. Yehudit. Good morning. The arena in which we operate is called Klippus Noga. The word Noga, I think it means to shine. Here it says, the first paragraph, page 113, the vitalizing animal soul in the Jewish person. That means your energy source. Not necessarily holy, but it has three holy things about it that the Alter Rebbe tells us in chapter 1, which is that every Jewish person's animal soul, vitalizing, what is it called here? Vitalizing animal soul. Comes from Klippus Noga, and it contains within it mercifulness, kindness, and modesty. Not in the middle, please. So yeah, sit on the outside. Not that you're an outsider, but the middle blocks the people in the back.
The outsiders always they're like holy souls, the outsiders.
What?
Outsiders.
We want to be insiders.
I'm saying like that think outsider.
Yeah. In this class, everybody is an insider. Okay, so these are the three things, the three givens about any Jewish person you ever meet. And some people, it may not be apparent, may have to dig a bit and think of good ways to bring out the good side of them. Like some people maybe had a rough time in life and they close themselves up to protect themselves. Okay. Well, I guess no alternative. There's no other seat.
Up here.
So Miriam, if Miriam can find a way that she'll be in between everybody so that she can see. Oh, perfect. Excellent. Superissimo. Is that Italian? No. Okay. So it comes from Klippas Noiga. Where is it? It's in your blood. It's not latent, it's you. The animal soul in a person is the person. Atzmai. That's who you are. I remember when I first learned this, it came as a shock to me. I always thought that I was me. And this animal soul was something I had to struggle with, I was told I have an animal soul, Kevin. No. He says here, the animal soul is you. It's in the blood. And the blood is your soul, meaning your animal, your vital soul, your human soul, and it's everywhere. Where is it not? Okay, next paragraph. It's also the vital living force in animals which are kosher animals, behemoths, such as behemoths. What are behemoths? Cows, sheep, goats, behemoths. Bulls, oxen, oifes, birds, kosher birds. How do we know if a bird is kosher or not? In general, birds of prey, not in general, as a rule, birds of prey are not kosher. Eagles, vultures, cormorants, crows, hawks, they're not kosher. Birds that are kosher don't have much to them. Cats like them. Cats like to eat them. Songbirds are kosher. The Torah gives a whole extensive list of non-kosher birds. So if you're not on that list, you're good. Who are on the list? Penguins, storks. There's a non-kosher bird is called the chasida. Why is a non-kosher bird called Hasidic? It's a good question. And Rashi answers it. Rashi asks the question. He says, because they're very good, but they're only good to their own kind. If you're not from their community, forget it. Cuckoos are not kosher. They're robbers. Do you know cuckoos rob other birds' nests? They lay their eggs in other birds' nests. And therefore, I remember reading in medieval literature that's why the cuckoo stands for someone who violates the sanctity of someone else's marriage. Because cuckoos lay their eggs in someone else's nest. And then the mother bird raises the cuckoo birds. And then they fly away. That's why cuckoo in English became the word cuckold in someone whose wife was not faithful. Who was cuckolded.
Someone's wife? Or
what?
Repeat that. Someone's wife?
From the word cuckoo comes the word cuckold. Cuckold. Because of the nature, and this is why it's not a kosher bird, because it violates the sanctity of another bird's life. And it lays its eggs in someone else's nest. So the Torah gives a whole list of non-kosher birds. What's another one? The penguin. No, I don't. This one. What's the animal? In Florida, you have them all over the place. They dive and they pick up birds. And what are they called?
Pigeon?
No, pigeons are kosher. Pigeons, we bring someone who brings a woman, if a person has to bring an offering and they can't afford an animal, they can bring pigeons.
A bald eagle.
A what?
A bald eagle.
Eagles are not kosher. They are birds of prey. They're not kosher. I remember I went to a place when I was about 19 years old, northern British Columbia, where the salmon run. A lot of salmon come from there. It's mountain country, beautiful, beautiful country. And I saw eagles. They don't even move their wings. They just circle. They have big, broad wings. They circle on the winds. And they have eagle eyes. Isn't that amazing? Amazing. Isn't it amazing that eagles have eagle eyes? What other kind of eyes do you want them to have? But the expression derives from the fact that the eagle can be hundreds of feet up in the air and he can see a fish. And he will dive down and grab that fish. I've seen video clips of eagles actually pulling a mountain goat off of a mountain. They're so powerful. Their wings are so powerful. And the mountain goat is clinging to the mountain. And they latch onto it and pull it off. And then they drop it.
So they hint it.
And it doesn't survive the drop. They come back and have it for supper. Those are non-kosher birds. Okay, but the kosher birds are any that are not listed there in the Torah. And how do you know which is which if you don't? So if you know some of them, we judge by who they hang around with. What is the common sayings of people in the street are also Torah. That's why they're accepted as common sayings. A common saying is like the early bird gets the worm. Everybody, yeah, of course. Common sayings express well-known truths. Truth is Torah. Torah is truth. So what does it say about birds? How can we tell if a bird is kosher or not? We see who it flies with. Birds of a feather flock together. Right? Birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
If they have kosher friends. So if you see a bird that you don't know what it is, but it flies with the pigeons over the bank. How many pigeons are there over the bank? Maybe 100. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they all fly off together and they fly in a circle and they come back to the same place.
And Canadian geese.
It's not boring for them. If you're a pigeon, it's not boring. So we have animals such as cows and bulls. Beasts. What are beasts? What are kosher beasts? These are wild animals like buffalo, springboks, gazelle, antelopes, not to be confused with the fruit. If you put a C on an antelope, you get a cantaloupe. Okay. That was a joke. They are permitted for human consumption. We're allowed, that means that's fancy language for we're allowed to eat them. And also, now take a look at this. This is the second paragraph, page 113. Everything from the vegetable world, everything from the mineral world, if it's permissible, in other words, poisonous mushrooms are not permissible because they're poisonous. But ordinary mushrooms in the vegetable store are permissible. Any food that's not going to be harmful, if it has the certification of the government, it's kosher. Vegetables, minerals. Where do you get minerals? In the in the grocery, in the pharmacy, in the health store. They sell minerals. Okay. But a third paragraph, page 113. Similarly, what are we talking about? We're talking about all the forms of life that get their life from the top klippa. Klippas Noga. Klippas Noga. All right. Now too, what about you? Your behavior, everything you do, everything you say, everything you think, as long as it's not forbidden by the Torah, it's okay. Okay, it's good. It's klipas noga. It's not good. It's not bad. It's life. So if you like to watch a basketball game or gymnastics, whatever is interesting to you, you want to go ice skating at the rink, as long as you dress in a Jewish way, which is modest, it's okay. At that point, you're getting your life from klipas noga. And if somebody falls on the ice and you help them up, if it's a girl, you help a girl. If it's a boy, you help a boy. A boy would help a boy. What do you do if a boy falls down right beside you? Well, you look around. There's another boy is there some male person who can help him? It should be a boy than it should be you. But if there's nobody else around to help him, let's say a woman is drowning, and the only person around there is a man who could save her. And he says, I can't. She's not dressed properly. That is called a stupid chassid. That's ridiculous. Human life is much more important. But if possible, we try and do things in a modest way. Page 114.
I have a question.
As long as what you're doing is not forbidden by any of the 613 commandments, or their derivatives, or things similar to them. Page 114 at the top, he calls it a root or a branch. Roots and branches are parts of trees. So if this negative activity is a root or a branch of something negative, then we don't do that either. Half a second. Or an offshoot. Whether it's from the Torah, a derivative from the Torah. For instance, what's a derivative? We're not allowed to break Shabbos, okay? We're not allowed to plant or to anything, because that's a creative act. We're not allowed to uproot something, because that's a destructive creative act. So therefore, you're not allowed to ride a horse. What's that got to do with riding a horse? We're not allowed to ride horses on Shabbos. Why? Because it's normal human behavior. When you ride a horse, you want to have a switch to remind the horse that it should go somewhere, that it should go. Where are you going to get a switch? You're going to break it off a tree. So to make a fence around the Torah, we have a law that you can't ride a horse, so you won't break a branch off a tree, which is forbidden on Shabbos. And similarly, we don't climb trees on Shabbos, because maybe you'll break a branch. So these are derivatives of not uprooting something from the place where it grows. And we don't cut our fingernails on Shabbos or bite them, because that's taking something, uprooting it from where it's growing, which is on your finger. Okay. Noah.
Yeah. I had a question about, you say that.
What? Speak slowly and clearly. The acoustics are so terrible that I can't understand if you don't speak slowly and clearly.
If it's mesirut nefesh, you can help a girl, or I can help a boy. Even if it's goy, I could.
Yeah, absolutely. Woman falls down on the ice, you help her get up. That's natural.
Yeah.
That's natural. But if a man falls down in the street and some man runs to pick him up, you don't have to get there first.
No, I don't.
And vice versa. But if there's no one to pick them up and you pick them up, that's called the Kiddush Hashem. That's a good thing. Okay, it's common sense. Common sense. Page 114. Now, all these things, you go shopping, or you go to the bank, or you just take a walk for exercise. It's fine. It's from Klipas Noiga. You're doing it because it feels good. You like it. It's necessary. You have to get light bulbs for the house. You have to get paraffin for your paraffin heater. In some places they use paraffin for heating instead of electricity. It's cheaper. And you have to always go to the store to get paraffin before Shabbos. So you'll have a warm house on Shabbos. I used to live in the countryside. I'm very familiar with that. Okay, it's not for it's just I'm just doing it because it's a necessity. But I'm not doing it for the sake of heaven. It says in the ethics of the fathers, everything we do, we should try to do everything for the sake of, it should have a holy reason. We should have a good reason why we're doing it, that it's going to be part of a mitzvah. So that I'm getting paraffin for the heater so that I'll be able to sit and learn Torah and not be freezing. That changes it. That elevates it into the realm of holiness. If I'm doing it for a holy purpose, yes.
I have a question. So your Nefesh HaBahamis is made from Klipos Nova, right?
Yeah.
So can you
A Jewish Nefesh HaBahamis is a holy thing.
So can you elevate that Klipos Nova to Kedusha in the animal?
Absolutely, every time you do a mitzvah.
But why doesn't it elevate it permanently?
What can you do to elevate it permanently?
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you do something with Mesiras Nefesh. If you use it to do something that involves a risk of your life, or you're saving a life of someone else, like the story we told yesterday about the person who gives away all his money to prevent someone from going to prison. And it's more than he can handle emotionally, and he went insane. But he was rescued because Hashem knows. Hashem sent someone to rescue him and restored his mental stability, and he became a big tzaddik. Why was he discovered? He was discovered because somebody who was a business person who had lost all his money, he stopped and he had lost all his money. This business person had a deal, so he gave him $1 or $50 or a quarter, and he said, "Give me a bracha, my business deal should work out today." And it worked out. Oh, good omen. Next time he had a business deal, he gave him another $1 and it worked out. Eventually, his friend said, "How come your business deals always work out and nobody else's works out every single time like yours do?" And he didn't want to say. So then he said, "Well, because I give a charity to this guy, this crazy person who lost his noodles. He's lost his mind. But every time I give him a coin, I get a blessing." So other people got to know about this, and the word got back to the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov said, bring him to me. And one thing led to another. He restored his sanity, and he arranged for him to have teachers, and he became one of the great tzaddikim of his time. So he elevated his Nefesh HaBahamis to, that's the idea of Tanya. That's one of the major things that Tanya is all about. It's not something that everybody can do. Because it means transforming your Nefesh HaBahamis into a Nefesh Elokis. You transform it. You actually make it into a holy soul. We're learning this in the Tanya that we learn the daily Tanya these days, where he explains there what did it say on page 1 of the Tanya? In the name of Eov. Eov is Hebrew for Job. The book of Job. Job says to God, has a conversation with God. Who was Job? That's a different question. Was he Jewish, not Jewish? Was he real? Was it an allegory? Job says to God, "You, God, have created wicked people, or you have created righteous people." So this raises the question that the Alter Rebbe asks on page 1 of the Tanya, where if God creates righteous people, how can what does it benefit anybody if I choose to do a righteous thing? It was already known in advance that I would do the righteous things. God created righteous people. So the Tanya explains, and this is where we're up to in learning the daily Shir Tanya, that it says there, you, God, created righteous people, wicked people. But you never take away free choice. That means that when we talk about a tzaddik, we don't just mean someone who does a lot of good deeds. The tzaddik has a special level of a soul that he has killed. We learned this, chapter 1. It's all in chapter 1. Like any good composition in school, we are trying to say everything that's important in the first paragraph. So in the first chapter of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says, David HaMelech killed his animal soul by fasting. That's not dieting. What was he fasting? He wasn't allowing his Yetzer Hara to have any influence upon him whatsoever. He killed his Yetzer Hara through fasting. But he just did not allow it to have any say in his life, and he became so. And then he explains in the Tanya we learned just yesterday that how does this happen? A person's an ordinary person. He's not a tzaddik. He's not one of these special neshamas who are created with the potential to be a tzaddik. Very few people are like that. These are. It says also in chapter 1, Hashem looked into the great storehouse of neshamas, and he saw how rare they were. So he made sure there was a good neshama in every generation, and I get them all in this class. Everyone has the potential to be a Beinoni. Not everyone has the potential to be a tzaddik. Only very, very special people who maybe did extraordinary acts of kindness or had self-sacrifice to help somebody else, or for whatever reason, they merit to be accepted into the world of tzaddikim, which is very, very, very rare. And then the Alter Rebbe explains how this happens, that Hashem arranges that a lower level of the soul of a tzaddik, like Moshe Rabbeinu, or the Middle Rebbe, or the Rebbe Maharash, a lower level of their soul becomes connected with this person. And so therefore, King David says, righteous people should rejoice in God. But it uses the plural, tzaddikim. Yismechu tzaddikim b'Hashem. Why does it use right plural? Because it's you, the person who became a tzaddik, and the added soul that you were endowed with. So it's a very rare mystical thing. So we have to try, but what we can do is we can resist temptation to be a Rasha. Therefore, we're sworn not to be a Rasha. Because it says in chapter 1, right? Be righteous, don't be a Rasha. Well, the first question of the Tanya is, if I'm righteous, why do I have to be told not to be wicked? If I'm righteous, I'm automatically not wicked. So the Alter Rebbe explains, no, a person can try to be righteous, but necessarily he may still want to be wicked. Why isn't he? Because he resists the temptation. He disciplines himself. He doesn't give in. And so the average person, like Leah here, she does good things all the time, but maybe secretly she's a closet, who knows what. But she doesn't let it be, it never becomes real. She says, no, I'm not going to do it. I love cheeseburger, but I'm not going to have it. I'm not. And with the help Chana Esther, I'm not going to forget to make after bracha. We didn't even do one line today. Oh no, we did 3 lines. We did 3 paragraphs. Okay. So we analyzed. Klippas Noga gives life to every permissible action, word you say, thought that you think. Does not give life to transgressions or desires for transgressions. I really, I'd like to give this guy a punch in the nose. I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay. That's the struggle. That's the struggle of the Beinoni. He or she wants to do bad things, but they don't. Because if they do, then they're not Beinoni. Because a Beinoni never does a bad thing. A Beinoni may want to criticize somebody, humiliate them, put them in their place. They're so obnoxious. You want to put them in their place and you keep quiet. You don't do it. So that power of holding yourself back is a very great thing. It takes a lot of inner strength to keep quiet sometimes. Not to insult somebody. Because if you insult somebody, you hurt them, that's the same as smacking them in the face. You're allowed to smack someone in the face? No. So you're not allowed to insult them or humiliate them. That's like smacking them with your hands or smacking them with your words. And you don't do it because you're trying to be a Beinoni. Everybody can be a Beinoni. Leah, was it worthwhile coming all the way just to hear that? Yeah. Well, now it's over. There's no turning back. There's no turning back. Now you know the truth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei nefashos rabos v'chesronon, al kol masha barasa lacha yes bahem nefesh kol choy baruch chei haolamim. We had it for bringing in the house. Oh, there's a hair. Say hello with everybody.
Hello.
So
Hi,
there's a young man from Adarta, a very clever young man, very nice young man. He's actually begun working. He's tutoring kids from a Moroccan background. And one of his students said his grandfather translated the Tanya into Arabic. He had never learned it before. The Rebbe asked that the shliach there, Rabbi Raskin, should have him translate the Tanya into Arabic. So he said he had to learn it first. So he learned it and then he translated it. And his grandson said in his name that a person cannot truly have fear of God if he doesn't learn Tanya. That's what he said. Okay, have a great day. And we have a whole week of sunny weather. Next week is going to even warm up a bit.
Yeah.
Every day. Sunny weather. Baruch Hashem. We have to appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Okay, see you.
Our sages teach us. We learn more from our students than from our teachers.
When?
Yeah.
Once we get into another.
It was a movie. Women's mix. What?
No, tenemos más chef here.
What is it?
From 11:05.
What?
11:05.
Tres?
Yeah.
No, no era una tipa la que daba noche.
No, que hablamos más chef. Se pregunta. Le preguntaba cosas.
Ah, sí, me acuerdo que pregunté sobre el tipo.